I'm Victoria Jane and I'm currently at the GigPig HQ. This is from the studio and I'm sat with the beautiful, the wonderfully talented Ellysse Mason. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling like warm and cosy. And I feel like we're both giving off warm and cosy vibes.
I know, well it's cold today and it's like, it's aesthetic, so.
Do you know what? I'm going to ask you a random question to start. Describe your style in a sentence.
Like, are we talking...
Fashion, sorry, that could have been music or anything.
I know, I was
Describe
thinking,
your
oh my God.
style.
My fashion, I like classic. I like...
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I do change every year though. I'm like, oh, I like what that person's wearing. I'm gonna wear that kind of thing.
really?
But like, I always revert back to this like kind of like 70s, 80s kind of rocky vibe. But I'm not that cool. So
What do you mean? She is cool. So obviously you've been making music for such a long time. Born and raised in Manchester. In fact, tell everyone a little bit about yourself and a little fun fact, if you can throw one in there as well.
A little fun fact. Actually, I'll do the fun fact in a minute because I actually was talking about that on my socials yesterday. But so my name's Ellysse Mason. I'm originally from Rochdale, but I moved to Manchester. This is where I currently live. I have been writing since I was about 12. I picked up a guitar and I did like some like lessons in school, and then the first song that I learnt was Hot and Cold by Katy Perry. I'll always remember that. And yeah, I think I've just been writing ever since. I think I wrote my first song after I did that one cover, so I wanted to just keep writing and yeah, I've just been doing it ever since. And then a few years ago during the pandemic, I took my socials a little bit more seriously and just learned how to properly do it and kind of show myself, my personality through it. And then I got onto TikTok. So I know, yeah, I got into TikTok and a couple of videos did really well, and I've been doing writing sessions in London, writing for other people, signed some deals, and now I am releasing my third EP. Well, on the way to releasing it next year, and I've got a song out in January called Cry Baby. So a little bit of self-promotion there.
That's so exciting because I was going to ask you later why you hadn't released this year and when the new music was coming, but you've answered that yourself.
Well, I guess there's more to it really, because I think I wanted a change of direction with what I was doing. It was very like synthy like alt pop stuff, which I really loved doing, but before that it was way more cinematic folk.
Right. Okay.
And I've kind of done like not full circle, but slowly going back to that more of a raw natural sound, but bigger. I like maximalist pop. I've always liked it.
Yeah.
And in like a world where everything's kind of minimalist right now, because I love bands like The Verve and Radiohead, and there's a little bit of inspo to that, but also with a bit more of an 80s sound. So yeah.
Okay, so you're going to take it in a bit of a different direction next year.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what's going to happen with it, but I guess we'll see.
I'm expecting big things, but let's come back to that fun fact about yourself. Tell us all.
Fun fact about me is I don't know if it's actually quite fun. I think it's fun. I thought it was fun because I've always thought I'm left-handed, right? Okay. But I picked up the guitar right-handed. So I play right-handed guitar, but I'm left-handed. And I kind of... Okay. I know, and I've never met anyone who's left-handed who plays right-handed. And then I was talking about on my socials yesterday, and apparently loads of people were saying the same thing, because I had this one question of, if I picked it up left-handed and played left-handed guitar, would I be better?
That's interesting.
Would I? Am I limited somehow? I don't know. And then people were saying, well, actually, your dominant hand at playing the chords, so you'll pick that up faster. But I've always been a sloppy player, as in like picking and strumming.
Right. Okay.
Because my dominant hand is doing
your
it. So I pick this up very fast, but then this side is just like all over the place.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I never would have thought that. That's given me hope for playing an instrument myself, because I can't even play on the right hand. So if you can play
You'll
on the
pick
flip
it up.
side.
You'll pick it up fast.
So like music-wise, you've had quite a journey. I wanted to ask how being from Manchester and Manchester scene has kind of influenced you and your sound, and just being from up north.
I like to let people know, like I'm from Manchester, because I think a lot of artists that I know are a lot of like up and coming artists right now. They're all coming from the south and down in London, and there's a very particular sound, but there's such like a vibrant scene in Manchester, and there has been for years, and that has definitely influenced my style a bit. I mean, you've got bands like, obviously, the famous bands like Oasis and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of them
Okay.
in particular. But, yeah, and I think I write a lot about, like, my hometown and growing up and kind of where I come from as well. I don't know, yeah. I guess it's influenced me, but being down in London as well, that has influenced my style a bit too. So I think just kind of grabbing things from all over the place, and there's some great musicians in Manchester, and I think there should be more of a scene up north, like people paying more attention to.
Why do you think there isn't that much attention, and there aren't that many eyes on the scene outside of London?
I think because people are lazy. I think the industry's lazy. I think they're just like, everything's down in London, and there are great musicians down in London, but I think unless you're there, it's like people aren't paying attention. I don't know if I'm going to get cancelled for saying that. No. But the industry's lazy, and I guess that's why. But also, Manchester in itself is its own bubble as well, and because I had been playing up here and writing up here, it's a completely different world down in London and down south, and I guess things are done differently here. I've always found it really interesting. I'd never really done a lot of writing sessions before, and it wasn't until I started working with people down in London and my managers were down in London that they were just like, okay, you've got to get into writing sessions now, and it's so different. And up here, that I don't think that's much of a scene where it has to be done to kind of get involved and network and stuff. People still do it, but I've always just done it with friends whenever I wanted to. Other than that, I kind of just sat on my bed and wrote songs myself. So it was very eye-opening to see how it worked in different places, and I've learnt so much from doing those kinds of sessions as well, and improved my songwriting skills and my people skills too, because I don't think I'm very good at that. But, yeah.
Sorry, I had to get my phone. That's so interesting that you've had these songwriting sessions and they've really helped you evolve as an artist and as a person. I wanted to touch on the fact that you mentioned about your management being in London. How have you found it as an artist, as a young female, with management, navigating the business side of the music world? Because this is a side that a lot of artists, a lot of people that are probably listening and watching, are still quite confused about how to navigate.
I mean, it's a big topic, and I don't know how much of a filter I have, especially like being a woman in the industry.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful what you say. Obviously, like I'm difficult, basically, which I'm not, but they will seem to think I am. Say if I don't want to do something, and this isn't, my management is different to what it used to be, but it's still kind of based down in London. I think it's a male-dominated industry, obviously, and we all know that. And I work with so many men that when I end up working with women, it's such a different experience, and I find that they're more attentive and kind of let you do your own thing and work around you. And that's not to say that the men don't. It's just there's definitely a difference in communication, and I don't see enough of it a lot. I work a lot with two girls who are based down in London, and they're like a songwriting duo called Ink, and they're just some of the best people that I've ever worked with. But some of the other best people I've ever worked with are other men as well. So, yeah, I've kind of turned that into more of a gender thing. But I think that's the thing I really took out of that with the industry, it is a lot more difficult to be taken seriously, and that you can actually do things by yourself. And sometimes I don't think they really understand, if they think you can, that it could be a gender thing. It's kind of ingrained. But yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's interesting. I, to be fair, agree with what you said. And, you know, that kind of world, the business kind of world, the male-dominated side of the industry is something that does need to change. Obviously, you've done songwriting before. How do you find songwriting for other people compared to your own stuff?
I love it.
Oh, really?
I love it, yeah. And I want to do so much more of it. There's so much I've learned by being a songwriter and being in a session and not writing for myself. I feel like if I was an artist, you have to put yourself in the artist's shoes. Like, if I was an artist, I've got this idea, I'm coming in with it, but it still needs to be me. So if you go in there and you start changing certain things, or changing how they would like say things in a song, or the sounds that they use, they're going to come away with it and going to go, well, it's not quite me, so I don't know. And I think as the other writer in the room, you're not really there to prove that you can write for them. You're there to prove that you understand their process and kind of take the back seat on it a little bit. Well, that's how I do it anyway. Take the back seat and kind of guide them if they need guiding. I don't like to get in there and going, oh, this is my idea for you, and then follow me. But it depends on what kind of sessions you're in. You could have artists coming in who don't write for themselves, who, you know, rely on the other writers to kind of do that, and then they just have that inspiration. But the people that I've usually worked with are writers themselves, and I learn so much from that all the time. So yeah, just kind of let them breathe in the session. It's all about just having ideas and bouncing off each other, and if they don't like something, don't, you know, push them to do it. I think the artist is always right in that situation, because if they release something that they're not 100% on, the audience will feel that's not authentic.
That's true. You never really want that, because you can tell straight away.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
On to something that's super exciting. You've just come off tour,
Yeah,
and you're about to go back on another one.
Yeah.
How was the tour that you just come off, first of all?
Oh my God, it was incredible.
And what is the experience of going on tour like for people that haven't done that before?
Oh, I guess it depends what kind of person you are and what you like. If you're like a homebody, like, and you don't like being away from home, I guess it could be quite difficult. But I absolutely loved being on tour. I went full band, and we were supporting a band called Modern Love. And it's these 4 boys, Irish boys. They were so nice. We've made some friends on that tour. It was so great, and the shows themselves were absolutely amazing.
Oh gosh!
But like, there are things you learn on tour along the way, which are not everything is going to go to plan. That is the number one thing. Not everything is going to go to plan. And I was like tour managing like 4 other people as well.
Oh, crazy.
As in not other people's tours, like my own tour I was tour managing. And you learn along the way, and keep cool. And this is going to sound so cliche, but have fun. It's not that deep. If things go wrong on stage, if things go wrong backstage or travel-wise, just go along with it. Like, we do this because we love doing it, and it's definitely a lesson that I've learned, and I've got the post-tour blues. So I want to be back on.
What was your favourite moment of the last tour?
I think it was the show in London. I really liked London, Berlin, and Paris. Those were my three favourites, but all the shows were great. But I think it was two favourite moments. One was in London when I was on stage. I don't know, and there was one song that was for the girls, and it just goes off. It goes off, and my guitarist does some like mental riff, and it's so crazy. And it was the first time I really actually let loose on stage.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah, I sometimes I find it difficult with my guitar. You know, when you see people on stage and they look so comfortable, I feel like I can't do that. Like, I feel like I look stupid right now. But you look back on the footage and it never looks as bad as you think it does. And it was the first time I really let loose, and the crowd was loving it, and I just came off buzzing. You really understand why you do these things, like, because you get really nervous beforehand. And I think the second moment isn't a particular moment, but the moments backstage, just with everyone there, and like we're having a little drink or something, and we're just bonding and enjoying it, and we're all friends and talking about music and experiences and the tour itself, and just getting to know people. I think those were the best moments, definitely.
Big memories that will probably stay with you for such a long time. And then you got another tour that you're about to go on soon.
Yeah, this one's just, I'm playing solo, so it isn't as like crazy with planning and stuff. And it's just Northern, and I'm supporting Billy Lockett. And he's an absolutely amazing musician, and I've supported him once before in Manchester, so he was kind enough to ask me to follow him on this tour, and and then that's me done for the rest of the year. Like,
love that.
You know.
Well, then you can like chill over Christmas. Then.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you've got all the new music coming next year, which is so exciting. I wanted to end on a question which I love to ask. What is something that you can't live without on your rider?
A whiskey.
A whiskey?
Yeah, Jameson. It's a nice, easy middle ground.
Okay.
You know? It's
Whiskey's
not
quite strong though.
It's all I drink. I can't. It's just like, oh, should we go for a like little afternoon drinky poo? I'm like, oh, I can't wait.
Do you have it straight?
It's a drink. Yeah.
Oh
like
my
just
God,
straight or with one ice.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Whiskey on the rocks.
I love it, but I don't like to get drunk on it. I just like sipping it. Like, I want in my dream house, right? No, this is serious business now. In my dream house, I want a room, and it's got like, it's like library vibes. It's got the old leather chairs. I've got a pack of cigars. I don't really smoke them, but it'll look really cool. It's very smoky. I've got the dressing gowns, and then I've just got like a decanter with a load of like fancy whiskies, and then I can do like whiskey tasting all the time.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Oh, well, it's been amazing chatting to you on so far. Is there anything else that you want to leave with the listeners?
No.
I love that. I was thinking, is she got something coming? Or what's she going to say?
I can't think on the spot. I don't know.
Thanks so much for joining us. This has been From the Studio. Make sure you check out Elysse's live session too.